faction games coming thick and fast at the moment. So playing Andy again today, and we're playing On the Desert. It's another practice game for Stand 2. And today we're going to be doing Demolition with a Tweak. And that's the demolition bases there. You can see one at the back edge of the board, and mine is over here. And victory points is counting down. So from turns, in turn 1 they would be worth 6, turn 2 5, turn 3 4, etc. You get the idea. And there is a secondary objective in the middle. So that's the ploy for today, and I'll go through the armies that we've got. It's blue on blue today, so it's DAK playing DAK. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to sort out my 8th army, because that would have been even better. But we'll do DAK on DAK, blue on blue, a bit of an exercise. Nice terrain here we got from Andy. He's been doing some terrain. I like the trucks. I think they're from any scale, are they?
Yes.
Any scale models, so they're well worth having a nose at if you want to do some terrain with broken down trucks and things like that. Yeah, so looking rather good. Let's have a look at the armies then. Surprisingly enough, both bring in Africa Corps. So here's my one, and let's start. From the front, we've got a second lieutenant veteran, we've got a medium mortar with spotter, a veteran truck with a medium machine gun, an armoured car, motorcycle and sidecar, the Panzer III G at the back, medium anti-tank, and we've got the Horch field truck, which has got the 20mm autocannon. With Rommel Triumphant, you can have this as your artillery piece. And then the infantry wise, I've got one section of 5 with an LMG there, and then I've got 3 sections of, or 3 squads of Germans, which are 8 men with NCO having a submachine gun and an LMG in them. And then I have a pioneer unit, which is veteran. So all the rest of the infantry is regular, and I've got one veteran pioneer unit, and they have 5 submachine guns, which includes the NCO and a flamethrower team, and the rest are rifles. And that works out just as about 1,000 points. It's an army that I love to use. I really love the desert warfare of North Africa, and this is one of my favourite armies. The figures are mostly, well, near enough all the figures there are by Artisan from North Star Miniatures, and a couple of warlords thrown in, but lovely figures. Army is slightly different, based from the Africa Corps. Let's work from left to right. So he's got his first lieutenant here, a veteran, and then he's got a anti-tank rifle, he's got a medium howitzer, he's got the 222 little armoured car, and then he's gone for the Panzer III J. Slightly different to the G, it's a medium anti-tank, but it's got extra armour at the back, which is always very handy, saved me once in a game. He's got a little field car, and with that he transports his veteran pioneers, and you can see that unit of 6 there, and they've got a flamethrower in them. As opposed to me, Andy takes veteran troops as the main bulk of his army, and you can see there he's got his 3 7-man units, and they have light machine guns in there, NCO with a submachine gun, but they're all veterans. Excuse me. So for his army, it's a much more difficult one to kill, needing 5s, whereas most of mine require 4s. So it's going to be a bit of blue on blue with our Africa Corps armies. As I say, these are probably the ones we may take to Stand 2 in April. I can't say that I'm one that's overly great at the technical side of strategy in war games, but in this game, what am I thinking? Well, we've got to take the base, and we've got to be hopefully the first person to get the most points. We've got a secondary objective there in the middle. So my theory is I could come on from the right, but there is that wood that I might have to get through, and he might have something in there. However, if I'm going to outflank, he might feel a bit more safe with that wood, and if he places something to the right of it, then it's not going to have good view to the left. So I thought I would bring my outflanking troops on the left. It's a bit of a run, but there's only the fences that I've got to drive around, so I might have a good chance of getting in on that left-hand side, depending on where, obviously, Andy brings his in. So I went for using in my outflanking force the motorcycle and the truck and the pioneers. So I thought I could bring the motorcycle on first, give a few shots, then bring on the truck, give a few shots, and the pioneers in the truck. That's the theory, and let's see how the game pans out and to see whether it actually worked. So let's get into the game. Set up after demolition. So the first part of demolition is bringing the units that aren't in reserve out onto the table, and you can deploy them up to 12 inches in from your table edge. So we've done that. Andy's had the last, penultimate dice out, so he had to put his tank out. So he's put it on the far side over there to try and negate my left over here, I would hazard a guess. And he's got a little armoured car tucked away. There he is, tucked away. Oh, my little observer, I've got to put my observer up, have I? Yeah, I've forgotten that. So I've got a little armoured car over there. So to counter his armoured car, because I've got very little over this side, I've put my tank down here. But I've got to be slightly wary, because in the centre over there, by the wood, is Andy's anti-tank rifle. So that's going to be doing something. So massing the troops up into the centre. But I've just got to put my mortar observer down somewhere. So we'll finish there, and then we'll start turn one, and I'll just put my mortar man into turn one. And I don't know why I was laughing. It has not been good for my DAK turn one. But let's have a look what we've got. So I thought I was fairly safe where I moved. They had cover, and Andy only needed. Andy had soft cover and moving to contend with, and long range mostly, but still managed to kill 3 with his unit in the palm trees. But then the tank moved up, fired the machine guns, and as it was, because of the way I'd taken the casualties off, they were all at fair game to the tank machine guns. And then Andy killed another 4, and one of those was exceptional, so that meant he killed the NCO. But fortunately, I was able to get rid of the NCO marker, because the German special rules step up, and the NCO passed his leadership test. You can see him there, standing in the midst of the carnage, and with the two markers, he did pass his test. So he's a brave little chap, but not doing very much. I tried to do some damage back with my little Horch, and I managed to kill 1 in the palm trees. I keep wanting to call it a wood, but it's palm trees. A wood of palm trees. And killed 1 and put 2 pins on. So that's okay, but it's not evens. It went bad from worse, bad to bad. We'll start off with the anti-tank rifle team that Andy brought up to the little wall there. You can see them there, and they took a shot at my men who I was running across here, and I was running them across here because Andy had already taken a shot with his medium howitzer, but we'll get back to that. So with his anti-tank rifle sniper, he took out one of my men there. So yeah, that was another man dead. Let's go to this unit here, and you can see that there's only 4 of them, and that was Andy taking the shot with his medium howitzer. Again, I thought I was relatively safe. Needed a 5, and he got a 5, and then he killed 4, but they did pass the leadership test, so well, we at least got 4 of them left. And over here, mine was the last dice out, so Andy's last dice was his armoured car, which he put on ambush over the back. So that little armoured car there, you can remember. So I thought, well, the only thing I'm going to do with my tank, I could put it on ambush, but I wouldn't bother. I'll just fire at the building with a HE, and I managed to kill 1 man and put 2 pins on with the medium howitzer from the tank. So turn 1, I would definitely say, goes to Andy there. End of turn 2, and I've levelled a little bit up. I've managed to take out the medium howitzer with a shot from my mortar I needed a 5 to hit it, and I got a 5. It's a 3-inch template, so I killed 3, and it was a leadership test with -1 because there was a single man left of the artillery, and Andy failed his leadership test. So that's gone. Over here, I've got to try and put a little bit of pressure on. I'm a bit worried about that armoured car on that far side. So I've put my tank here on ambush, just in case it came round. And he didn't like the way that I shot his troops in the building, so he advanced them out and took a pop at my troops in the palm trees, but I then put them down, so that saved them a little bit. I advanced up the 5-man unit. It's now a 3-man unit with 3 pins, but they're doing their job. My lone NCO is in the building. He ran into there for a bit of cover, and I've advanced this little unit up. Over on the left flank, the Hawk was going to take a shot at the troops over here in the palms, and Andy put them down. But he did advance up his Panzer III and took a shot with the whole machine gun and the big gun. Fortunately, he missed with the big gun and only hit with 1 machine gun, and just put 1 pin, so I was quite lucky there. So interesting dynamics on this turn 2. I haven't got a lot of troops on the table, but it's now going into turn 3, and outflanking units can come on. And I know that Andy's got his pioneers in a truck, and I've got my pioneers in a truck. So we'll see how this pans out. End of turn 3, and that was quite dramatic. Even Andy thought that was quite dramatic. So let's have a look at what's going on. Well, turn 3 is when reserves can come on, and we both brought our reserves on. So mixed fortune. Anyway, in the middle here, Andy has been busily whittling down my troops. I've got a unit of 8. No, they were 5. They're down to 2. I tried to rally them to get all their pins off, but I only managed to rally 2 off. That was a bit sad. Over here, they took 3 casualties before I was able to pass the leadership test to move them out, so I've run them round. This little unit here has caused trouble. It ran into their house and duffed up my NCO and killed him, and then they consolidated back out. So they're at a risk. Andy had his armoured car on this side on ambush, just in case my outflankers came on that side. So once he had done that, that freed up my tank, so I pushed that forward, and that was going to take some shots on his unit behind the wall. They went down. Did I kill anyone? No, just put a pin. Just put a pin, didn't I?
I think they had 2 pins last time. But
yeah, no, I may not even know because I needed 7s,
so.
didn't I?
Yeah.
7s, and I didn't get anything. The mortar is ranged in on Andy's officer, so they're going to do a skedaddle next turn. So that's they've got to move. Now over here, I started off the turn firing the Hawk at these people again. So Andy put them down, and as you can see there, I managed to kill another one and put on 2 pins. So they're on 4 pins, so they probably need to rally. You can see an Africa Corps truck on the back, and that's mine. We'll bring ourselves over to this corner, and the order that the dice came out, I was quite lucky. Andy brought his truck on, and he put it to near to where my Hawk is there, and I was able to then bring on my motorcycle team behind the truck, and I scored 2 hits on it, got 2 6s, and then with the other 6, one of the 6s for penetration blew it up, and then the troops inside took a D6, and that was 4 hits, and I managed to kill. Oh no, I got 1 hit, didn't I? I think
1 hit killed the
I got a 6 for 1 kill, and then I rolled it again for an exceptional hit, and I got another 6, and I picked off the flamethrower as things go. So that was that one done. And then for me, I had the last dice out, and I ran my truck on over there. I've still got a goodly 20 inches, I would have thought. At least 20 inches to get to the objective over on that side to get in contact with it. Andy, however, is probably about 18 inches if he did a run, but he's got to run forward straight, so he's probably got to turn and do a 9, and it'll get pretty close. And I'm not sure my tank, which is over there on the other side of the palm trees, is going to position to be able to do any damage to it. My problem for my truck over that side is Andy's armoured car is now going to be released from his ambush duties, and he's going to come in and have something to say about that. So that's us moving into turn 4, and we've not got too close to the objectives yet, but Andy's tank is getting there. The phrase bolt action happens, I would go for turn 4, and it was in my favour, which was very good for me, not so good for Andy, and very surprising to me. So things that started off, well, a lot of the dice coming out of the bag first were mine. So I was able to move my truck up and get my pioneers out onto the objective, the demolition objective, to take the HQ. So they're there, and they've taken that. And also the dice just came out right, so I was able to put the troops out here, and they took a shot on this unit here. And he really had to go down because of the casualties, but I still killed 3. What was it, 4? Oh no, I'd got them with something else as well. So, oh yeah, the truck killed 1, and then the unit to the left took out another 3, just with the shots at close range. Even with them being down, it was my dice rolling was on fire this turn, absolutely on fire. As you can see over here, I moved up the tank. Sorry, my Panzer 3 over here took a shot at Andy's. I got the drop again, and I managed to blow it up as well, which the dice roll has just been amazing. Over here, Andy's pioneers assaulted the Horch, blew that up, and then I've advanced up the motorcycle troop, motorcycle armoured car, and killed 3. Considering these are all veterans, my dice rolling has been on fire. So craziness. Over here, Andy passed his leadership test with 4 pins, which was pretty good, and took a shot at the back of my troops, but only managed to put a pin on, which I was quite fortunate on that. Over here, Andy tried to blow up my truck with his officers. I had taken his officers down by his extra man, so but didn't kill him off, and Andy passed his leadership test as well, so that was all good there. Anti-tank rifle team took a shot at my truck. They put a pin, didn't they?
Put a pin on the truck.
Put a pin on the truck, but didn't
penetrate.
Didn't penetrate it at all, which was lucky for me. Over here, Andy's little armoured car, which was freed up, has snuck round the palms and took a flank shot on my tank and actually hit it and glanced it. So that took 2 pins. So yeah, that was a bit of a headache that they got from the side. So into turn 4, I would have 3 points for getting the HQ at the back. And I've got 2 men in the building who are trying to make their way upstairs to the secondary objective. So that's that, going into turn 5. Andy's brave officer has legged it into the building to take on the squad inside. I've only got 2 men, Andy's got 1 man, but he braved the gunfire and just took a pin, and he's now in to carry out the hand-to-hand. So, you get 1 dice, I get 2 dice, but you've got a tough fighter. So, let's see what Andy rolls.
4. That's 1 dead.
Oh, 1 dead.
But I get a second dice.
You get a second dice.
Both dead.
And I've got to try and get
5s.
5s with my 2 dice.
5 and 5.
Right. So wiped each other out. Well, that was close. Very heroic. Turn 5, and unfortunately for Andy, it's been my dice that have come out the bag, which means I've been able to execute my troops first, and that's been a big help to me. So let's have a look where we've gone. First off, we were able to force the armoured car to run away, and we did that, but then we did pepper the troops in front of me, and Andy wanted to keep them up to stop them, to give them a chance of doing something, but unfortunately I killed 3 leadership test. They did pass the leadership test.
Yeah.
They went down though, didn't they, for some reason?
Later on when I tried to get them...
Later on when Andy went to activate them, they did fail their leadership test and went down, so that was a bit of a shame. We had the the heroic charge of the officer, which they wiped each other out. Over here, this unit got the drop first and killed Andy's unit, so that was another harsh step for Andy. Over here, he tried to activate his pioneers down by the truck, but they failed the test and they went down, which allowed me to move my motorcycle combination up and put a couple of shots into the back of the troops here, killing another one and giving them another pin. Over here, we managed to take out one of the anti-tank team, drop them down, which probably saved me from getting my truck blown up. And I put the pioneers down, put them on that ambush so they could respond to anything. But we looked at it and we've worked out that there isn't anything Andy could do in turn 6 to change his fortunes. So a win to my Africa Corps over Andy's Africa Corps. But I think scenario-wise, do you think that's a reasonable one for working?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that changed the sort of dynamics of it, didn't it? So, excellent. Thank you very much, Andy.
Yeah, good game.
Well, it did seem like my strategy paid off. And the armoured car that Andy put down on his left flank and on my right was sort of covered by the trees quite a bit to give me a bit of help. And obviously, with my tank where I had it, that sort of gave him a little bit of trouble to think about what was over there. Much the same, I was lucky to get his tank destroyed because that was causing me a lot of trouble on that left flank as well. Main victory, no, what's the word? Most valuable unit, that's it. Go for the most valuable unit, and I think that's my little motorcycle team, who did very well dealing with the Pioneer and the truck. So, yeah, a good game. Interesting play on the... yeah, as we were saying, before the phone interrupted. That was a very strange one. That was a call from a little child who has obviously just dialed a number in randomly and got mine. Anyway, yeah, so an interesting play on the demolition scenario, giving us food for thought for our Stand 2 tournament. Just tried to put in different scenarios which have sort of a balance to them. So that was good. We had a good bit of fun with Andy there. Liked putting out the desert tablecloth that I've got. This one came from Tiny War Games, and I liked what Andy had done with his palm trees. So anyway, hope you enjoyed it. So thanks very much for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit that notification bell to get when the next video is up. And if you are feeling very kind, you could always lob some a coffee to the channel to help me get bits and pieces to help improve the videos and the games. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Until the next time, take care.